You've had a chance to look over the bill. What do you think?
Well, it's really not a whole lot different than the House bill, which has about 20% approval and 65% disapproval in the country. It's a bill that will decimate Medicaid, will cause millions of people to lose their coverage, and will raise premiums for a lot of other Americans. In short, they just move money around and change the timing of some provisions, but they really haven't made it any kinder or gentler than the mean bill that was characterized by President Trump.
Well, the President Trump says that this is less mean. He's also suggesting that the healthcare exchanges are failing and that if government doesn't intervene, that this will be a disaster for many Americans, including in the health insurance industry, and how this impacts folks with coverage. What's your response to that?
Well, first of all, the bill eliminates the individual mandate, which destroys the individual market. If people don't have to buy insurance until they're sick, which presumably this would allow them to do, then no insurance company is going to be in the market because they will take only losing propositions. And the whole notion of individual accountability, which was a part of the Affordable Care Act, that everybody has a stake in this game, is thrown out the window by this bill.
Congressman, what do you say to people who say, okay, Americans voted. They delivered the Republican majority for the House. They delivered the Republican majority for the Senate. They delivered a Republican in the White House. What do you say to folks who say, well, people want the Affordable Care Act at least tweaked, at least fixed?
I think we can fix it. I think there are a lot of tweaks that we should make. For instance, and this is not Democratic caucus position, but it's my opinion, I think we can do away with the employer mandate, which is also done in this bill. I think that actually will help American workers.
Medical device tax?
Medical device tax, I'm not in favor of repealing. It's one of the most profitable industries in the world, and they don't need a tax break. But one of the things that I really am concerned about with this bill is that while it gives hundreds of billions of dollars worth of tax breaks to the wealthiest Americans and corporations, it actually eventually eliminates the keeps the Cadillac tax, which is a direct shot at American union members because they're the ones most concerned with it. So it does away with the Cadillac tax for a little while, then brings it back. So while they're willing to give tax breaks to the millionaires and billionaires, if you're a union member, not so lucky.
What do you say about the process, about how all this was done?
Well, you know, I actually have some sympathy for Mitch McConnell. He was in a really tough position.
I don't think I heard you correctly.
No, I'm being kinder. I'm being kinder and gentler to my fellow Kentuckian. You know, Mitch was faced with the proposition of actively discussing something which was only going to generate more opposition or try to keep it quiet and not let people know what they were actually doing. So while I think this is the wrong way to go about it, I was on the Ways and Means Committee when we did the Affordable Care Act. We had hearing after hearing and meeting after meeting, and the bill was out for months and months and months where people could read it and react to it. So I don't like the way he did it, but I kind of understand why he did. When you're afraid of making something public, it's because you know the public's not going to like it. So he didn't have much recourse.
Republicans are saying, hey, wait a minute. Back when the Democrats did this and passed the Affordable Care Act, they took the same exact route. So what do you say to that criticism?
Well, the facts just totally contradict that. Again, hundreds of hours of meetings and hearings. We had interminable hearings and meetings in the Ways and Means Committee. Amendments open on the floor, hundreds of amendments. We actually accepted a lot of Republican amendments, even though we ultimately knew they weren't going to give us any votes. So it was a totally, in terms of transparency, a totally different process.